Hello to all the Year R children, it's Mrs Young here. So today I am going to be doing some modelling of our curly caterpillar letters. So as you can see, there's quite a few of them, and I've tried to draw myself a line, although it's not very straight, so maybe mummies and daddies can help you draw your lines. But the curly caterpillar letters are different to the long ladders. Now the long ladders, they lead from the bottom all the way up and back down. Now the curly caterpillar letters are curly because they curl over the top, and they often do an over, back, around motion. So we're going to go through the letters today, and you can see if you can join in with me, or you can watch the video and then have a turn later on. Okay, so the first letter for the curly caterpillars is obviously the letter C, because curly caterpillars both start with the letter C. So curly caterpillars need to always start on the line, just like all of your other letters. So we lead up from the line and curl over and back around. Okay, let's see if I can get it a bit closer so that you can see. So we lead up, over, back, around, and you've got to make sure that the bottom of the C is sitting on the line. Okay, I'll do one more. Lead up, over, back, around. And can you see my lead on is always touching the line there? Okay, so the letter O is very similar to the letter C, but instead of leaving it open, what we're going to be doing is closing it up to make it a circle. So we lead up, over, back around like a letter C, but then we've got to go all the way up to the top and across. Again, lead up, over, back, around, up and across. One more time, ready? Up, over, back, around, up to the top and across. Can you see? Okay, so the letter A, very similar again to the letter O, but this time we have a tail. So we lead up, over, back, around, up to the top of the O, down and flick. Can you see? So we lead up, over, back, around, up to the top, down that line and flick. And as you can see, it's a little bit straighter, this line. It's not so curved like this one. So one more time. Up, over, back, around, straight up, down and a flick. Can you see? So the next letter is very similar to the A, but this time it has the stalk part on it. Now, the bit that goes up is called a ascender. An ascender is a part that goes right up. Okay, so what we're going to do is go up, over, back, around. Now straight up like your A, all the way up, keep going up, straight back down and a flick. And did you see I did not take my pen off the paper at all? So ready? We do it again. Lead up, over, back, around. Oh, my pen lid fell off there. Up to the top, down and flick. Can you see? One more. Lead up, over, back, around, all the way up, down and flick. Can you see mine went a bit wobbly there? I would most probably say this one is my best one, and I'd put a square around this one because I think this one needs a little bit more work. Do you remember that's what we do in our handwriting? So maybe you could have a go at doing that and circling your best one and putting a square around the one that you think might need a little bit more work. It could be your wobbly one. That's my wobbly one there. Okay, so now moving over to this side, we have got the letters over here. We've got the first letter here, that's a G. And the G has a descender. So an ascender is one that goes up, and a descender is one that points down and underneath the line. Can you see his tail? is hanging underneath the line. So let's see if I can show you this one. So we start our pen on the line, we lead up, over, back, around, just the same. Go up like you would for an A, and then down and a curl. Okay, again. So we lead up, over, back, around, up to the top, down and curly tail. You see? It's quite a tricky one, that one. So then we have our letter Q. Now Q is very similar to G, but can you see Q has a much more pointier tail, not a curly monkey tail like this one. This one has a very, very pointed one. It's a little bit like a little tiny V at the bottom actually. So the same motion that we use for our curly caterpillars, up, over, back, around, up, straight down with a nice straight back, and then a flick. And the flick is going diagonal, so it's going this way up rather than going around. Okay, one more time. We lead up, over, back, around, up, down, and a flicking tail. Okay, now E. E is also part of the curly caterpillars because we loop up and go around. So this one is very different to the ones before because what we need to do is we need to have that loop all the way through. So this one, we start on the line and we loop up, around and make his bottom sit back on the line and a tail. Can you see? Lead up, around and the tail sits on the line. Okay, one more time. Up and around. Okay, now this one, our letter S. You wouldn't think it's a curly caterpillar, but it is because we do lots of going forwards and then going backwards. So that forward, backwards motion. So this one, we go, well, let's see if I can rest him on here. Up, over, back around. While we come around, we wiggle forwards, then we wiggle backwards. Okay, let's go again. So we lead up, over, back around, wiggle forward and wiggle back. I say to my class, give him the tummy. You've got to get that tummy sticking out. So up, over, back around, give him a tummy and there. And you could put a little flick at the end if you're feeling really fancy. Okie dokie. And the last one, this one is one of the most trickiest letters. I find this one really tricky. When I first started to use my Hawkesbury handwriting, this one I found really, really tricky. But it's not tricky if you practice. So we start on the line, we lead up like an E, around, and now it's really important that we have a nice straight back going down. Nice straight back, and then we flick and give him a monkey tail. A bit like our G over here. So we lead up, around, straight down, and flick. Again, lead up, around, straight down, and flick. So it's really important with the curly caterpillars that you practice the forward and backwards motion. Now, you could just practice that motion, getting that used to in your hands. So you could just do lots of forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, just to get your hand used to that forward, back movement, because that's quite tricky. And then you can have a go at starting to do these curly caterpillar letters. So just to recap, we have our C, we have O, A, D, G, Q, E, S and F in our curly caterpillar letters. I would love to see you practicing your handwriting at home. Get mummies and daddies to put some videos on Tapestry or put some pictures up on Tapestry. We all would be really, really excited to see that. I know that all the teachers would be really pleased to see you do some handwriting.